World War I is remembered for mud, shellfire and stalemate, but what often gets overlooked is the brutal battle against cold. Soldiers lived for months in wet trenches where frostbite, hypothermia and dampness claimed more lives than bullets. Modern stoves didn't exist in the form we know today, and even the small field burners of the era were unreliable, too fuel-hungry, or far too visible to enemy observers. So, the armies of World War I turned to a heating method many people today have never even heard of. Yet it kept entire trench sections warm enough for men to sleep without freezing, dry their gear, and maintain morale. In the next minute, you'll understand why this trick spread from one army to another, why it worked when other solutions failed, and why it still matters for anyone interested in survival, fieldcraft, or historical engineering. Before soldiers could rely on manufactured stoves, they relied on ingenuity. The early battlefield conditions forced them to create a heating system that required almost no fuel, produced almost no smoke, and could operate in a world of mud and water. Soldiers placed hot coals or small lumps of fuel inside the chamber, then partially sealed the opening. The reduced oxygen flow forced the fire to smoulder instead of blaze, producing steady infrared radiation that warmed the earth surrounding the chamber. This is the same principle used in traditional masonry heaters across Eastern Europe. But in the First World War, it was miniaturized and adapted on the battlefield. The combination of clay lining and soil insulation prevented heat loss, and the gradual release of warmth could last for hours without attracting attention. It was, honestly, a simple solution with outsized impact on survival. Modern survivalists can replicate this First World War trick with basic tools. Anyone camping, building a winter shelter, or working in remote conditions can apply the same principles. If you dig a small chamber into a hillside, reinforce it with clay or stones, and place a small ember bed inside, you create a radiant heat source that requires minimal fuel. A narrow vent keeps airflow steady enough to maintain smouldering without allowing flames to grow wildly. The surrounding earth absorbs heat and returns it slowly, turning the shelter into a warm micro-environment even in severe cold. This can be done step by step. First, identify a stable vertical earth surface. Second, carve a cavity no larger than a backpack. Third, line it with clay, dirt or stones to keep the chamber stable. Fourth, insert a few glowing coals or charcoal lumps. Fifth, loosely cover the opening with a flat rock or piece of metal, leaving a thin gap for air. Within minutes, the structure will radiate heat. This technique is especially valuable in survival situations where fuel is limited or where smoke discipline matters. Farmers working in remote fields during winter can use the same design to warm small shelters or thaw equipment without relying on propane or kerosene. Hikers caught in a cold snap can build a small earth heater to prevent nighttime freezing. Anyone constructing a semi-permanent shelter can incorporate a trench-style heating cavity into the wall to maintain warmth with minimal resources. This WWI method remains relevant because it solves problems modern stoves cannot. Modern stoves are portable and convenient, but they burn fuel quickly, require maintenance, and emit visible flame or smoke. They also fail when wet or when fuel supplies run out. The trench heater relies on radiant heat, insulated earth, and slow fuel consumption. It is nearly windproof, moisture-resistant, silent, and easily concealed. Most importantly, it is sustainable. When firewood is scarce, even small amounts of charcoal or dry material are enough to maintain warmth for extended periods. World War II soldiers didn't have the luxury of batteries, propane cylinders, or factory-made gear. They needed a system that worked under bombardment, during blizzards, and inside cramped underground shelters. Their solution still stands as one of the most efficient low-tech heating methods ever used in wartime. If you found this deep dive into forgotten fieldcraft valuable, make sure you subscribe, share this video, and leave a comment. Your support helps keep these historical survival methods alive for future generations.